Podcasts are a go. The latest from Podnews.net with measurement by Magellan AI.
Let's talk about podcasts on YouTube.
Yes, let's. In a tweet, YouTube has announced that podcasts are a go. And we think this means podcast tools are now available on YouTube Studio for all, and 9to5 Google suggests that too, though podcasts aren't visible in YouTube Music for anyone yet. An explainer video has been published along with a news section in YouTube's FAQs. YouTube hasn't responded to a request for comment. Apple Podcasts has published details of how it distributes your show to listeners, detailing some users of the Apple Podcasts catalogue. Members of the Podcast Academy are able to vote for new board members. Here are the list of people who are standing: Donald Albright, Chris Cochran, John Gaunt, Rob Greenlee, Sirisha Kuchimanchi, Juleka Lantiga, Christy Mirabal, Sierra Reid, Seth Rubinroyd, Jen Sargent and Matty Stout. Members should log in to vote before March the 30th. Riverside is the latest company to launch a free AI transcription tool. It supports audio and video and outputs text and SRT formats. Meanwhile, the new Riverside, whatever that is promised tomorrow. LinkedIn has launched the LinkedIn Podcast Academy, a 6-month incubator pilot for 19 shows. Facebook is shutting its audio channels in groups. It's the last bit of the company's former push in social audio to be closed. It launched podcasts in its app in 2021 and closed it a year later after only launching in one country. Nobody would be that stupid. And the Earbuds Podcast Collective this week focuses on Women's History Month and is a compilation of some of the favourite female podcasters from Tara Clark. You can find out more information on that at earbuds.audio. In People News, Julie Shapiro is moving on from Novel and looking for new opportunities. She joined Novel in June 2022, and Dawn Ostroff is to join the Paramount Global Board. She had been Chief Content and Advertising Business Officer at Spotify until leaving in January 2023. Her exit package included a non-compete clause. It's a Monday, so time for some tech stuff, and over the last 90 days, podcasters have received at least $35,000 in value-for-value streaming sats and boosts. We link to the stats for the value-for-value podcasting ecosystem as visible to the Podcast Index today. The Podcasting 2.0 podcast this week tests whether new ideas in the project GitHub are distractions or not, the idea of channels of related shows, and listens to the Podnews Weekly Review last week. The show has a break next week. And thank you for the boosts that we've received this week, including from the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast, who sent 10,000 sats for the news every day. He says, "Thanks, Ken." Well, thank you, Ken. And in podcast news, the In the Dark podcast has been acquired by Condé Nast's New Yorker magazine from NPR. Terms weren't given. Our new podcast trailers feed has had a little tweak and is now an even better place to find new shows. Keep it in your podcast app for when you need new inspiration. You'll find more details at podnews.net/trailers. Listeners, Just the Gist has hit 10 million downloads. The show tells stories about famous scandals, true crime, celeb drama, conspiracy theories, politics, and amazing people through history. Bad Dates with Jamila Jamil is new today from Wondery. It's the first series to debut from the Smartless Media slate and features a panel of hilarious guests who each share tales of their worst and craziest dates ever and then weigh in on everyone else's misfortune. It's available exclusively on Amazon Music today, but everywhere next week. And Pop Culture with Shantae Joseph has returned for a second season from The Guardian. The first episode looks at the return of the Oscars and its lingering controversies. Shantae talks to author and Hollywood expert Michael Schulman about the awards campaigns that go on behind the scenes, the criticisms from actors, and why young people just aren't watching anymore. This podcast is sponsored by Measurement by Magellan AI. This thing is on podcast advertising attribution and delivery verification from the leaders in podcast ad data. Find out more at magellan.ai/measurement. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.